conversation.
Think they know somebody who's got some dope music or project and just need to get it on the radio?
Man, all you got to do is hit me, swag, tracks, and vocals at gmail.com. That's swag, 2 G's, tracks, and vocals at gmail.com. You can always link with me. Hit me on IG, hit me on Snapchat at IDJSwag, 2 G's, and we can get it popping. Don't forget, Just Swag TV, each and every Friday from 11 to 12 p.m. right here on K-100 Radio.com. Yeah, man.
It's going down.
Here's another exclusive interview on K-100 Radio.
All right, let's get it again.
You are tuned to K-100 Radio, hip hop and R&B.
You know.
K-100, you bastards.
Welcome back to the second half of this hour of our direct line interviews, man. We are rocking out, man. We just talked to the homie Will. Remember, of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right. If you're not rocking with our YouTube channel, you're missing all kind of stuff, especially all these exclusive interviews with these dope independent artists. A lot of informational stuff when we're going out to all these music conferences and different events, talking to a lot of industry people in the game. All right, so make sure you rock with our YouTube channel if you haven't been rocking with it, all right? Let me check my phone lines real quick. I believe the homie Intellect is already on the line, ready to roll. Hey, yo, Intellect.
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
What's going on, man? Welcome to the broadcast. Welcome to K100 Radio, bro. Glad to have you on the phone.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Glad to have you on the phone, man. I'm going to pause the music. Now I want you to holler at my people, man, and go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience that's checking us out live on our live feeds or anybody that's listening to this after the fact on YouTube or on SoundCloud. Go ahead, man. Tell them who we rocking with, Intellect.
Hey, man, on one of the best radio stations out there, K100, it's your man, Intellect, hailing from all the way from the East Coast. You can find me on Instagram, Intellect Music, the number 1. Same thing for Twitter, IG, SoundCloud. On Spotify, it's just Intellect. And we're going to talk about the album Out of Left Field today.
All right, man. Let's get to it. You did. All right, back to music. All right, man. So listen, you know, this is the first time I'm getting a chance to hear some of your music, man. I'm really looking forward to checking some of it out, man. I mean, so I read some of the bio, and you talk freely about you being a vet. You know what I'm saying? About you being, you know, somebody that's, you know, how does that play into your whole mantra? How does that play into your whole career as an independent artist?
I mean, I think it definitely caters to the work ethic, right? I spent the better part of 17 years, you know, in the Army and in the government, working in special operations and some other places. I've deployed, like some of the other fellow veterans.
All right.
You know, so not just the mantra, but it also plays into having a lot more substance to talk about.
Right.
That either people are afraid to talk about because they may find it taboo to talk about some of the things that we go through, especially, you know, psychologically or relationships, what have you. You know, and kind of let people know what that's all about, but also too, you know, that art of storytelling, you know, is a big thing, you know, in the military. Like a lot of times that's how we learn how to do our job. It's just OJT, you know, when you're going out, you know, outside the wire, you know, you're listening to guys who've been doing this, you know, 10, 12 years before you
right.
on the things that they encountered before they got into a firefight.
Right.
You know, and they're telling you stories about this, you know, about these things. So when you translate that to music, it's the same thing. You're telling somebody a story to educate them, to entertain them, whatever your end state is.
All right, man. I really like that. I mean, and especially the part that you said about the experiences. Like the one thing I will give the military will have you in some parts of the world that you would never ever end up had you not been there. You know what I'm saying? Had you not been a part of that. You feel what I'm saying? And so I think a lot of people, especially in hip hop, their whole world is kind of like America, and that's it. And they don't realize there's a lot of stuff going on in other parts of the world. They really don't realize sometimes, even though we have it hard over here, on a lot of fronts, how spoiled it is over here. Even when we're doing bad and we may have a lot of things going on, we black people, we still getting harassed by the police and murdered. At the same time, you could be a Palestinian. You know what I'm saying? Which is 10 times worse.
Oh yeah, man.
You know,
it's a you know, we like to say it's a big world.
Yeah.
You know, and in the military, sometimes that world becomes very small. You know, I've lived all over the world in almost every continent except Africa and Antarctica, you know, to kind of give you, you know, some perspective.
Right.
You know, so definitely every time I step outside of this country, regardless of the things that we go through here, which, you know, as a black male in America, it is hard.
Yeah.
But to see the things that I see people endure and overcome in some places, you know, makes me wonder, you know, sometimes why we as a culture, as a people of color, why we can't find a way to overcome some of those same things.
Right.
You know, and like pick each other up instead of tearing each other down. Because I've seen it, I've witnessed it with my own eyes in other places of the world where you have other people of color that are oppressed, you know, sometimes by other people of color.
Yeah.
But they overcome, you know, and it's like, well, why can't we do that here?
Yeah. It's a very interesting conversation that I'm having with Intellect. We're live right now on K-100 Radio. This is a direct line interview, and I'm chopping it up with Intellect, having a pretty intellectual conversation. Of course, we're here for it. We love these kind of conversations on K-100 Radio. Let me ask you about this then. As we talk about this kind of stuff, let's put it over here with hip hop. The state of hip hop. All right. What kind of hip hop that we popularize? What kind of hip hop, you know, that gets swept under the rug, where it really deserves more? Tell me about the state of hip hop. What do you think about right now as far as a culture, hip hop, and also, since you're well traveled, tell me how hip hop is viewed in the rest of the places that you've been. But give me it's a two-part question. One, how you feel about the state of hip hop as a culture, and two, when you're out there in other places in other countries, how are they receiving hip hop now in 2018?
I feel like, in Mike's government name, Mike, Intellect, whatever you want to call me, my personal opinion on the state of hip hop. I don't knock anybody's music. People are making their money. That's great. You know, but I think, in my personal opinion, the state of hip hop, that we've bought into the gimmick. I have a lot of friends that are DJs all over, and they talk about it all the time. Some work at radio stations. How where, you know, DJs, you guys like used to break records back in the day, you know, before it became like a business, you know, and now we have, as a culture of hip hop, bought into like what I call like bubblegum music, or the jingle. You know, it's whatever gets you the dollar the fastest, right? So you'll have artists come out, and nobody's even putting out an album anymore. When's the last time anybody's heard from cover to cover a hot album? Not like a hot few singles, you know, and then maybe comes an album, and then the album's kind of, it's okay, but I like these 5 songs that also have the same 5 bass lines on the song with a change in melody or a couple of instruments. And then everybody's saying the same thing. You know, not to knock like auto-tune or mumble rap, but everybody that's popular, what's coming out on the radio, everybody is doing the exact same thing. You know, and that's not by accident. People found something that they works.
Right. But
what we forget is what is timeless music. You know, when people play my music, I want somebody 30 years from now, like when I put on, you know, Will Smith's and DJ Jazzy Jeff's Summertime, right, and think it sounds like a brand new song, or it's just as fresh as it was 30 years ago, because it takes you somewhere. It ain't talking about trying to get you high or get into some woman's pants, or, you know, like those are things that happen in life, but it's not idolizing that. It's taking you to a place in time where you can see all those things happen, but it ain't like that's what success is in life.
Right.
You know, I think, you know, the state of hip-hop and the culture of it, I feel like that's where we've gone to, because we've gotten, as artists, so into the business side of it, which is important to know, but we've gotten so into the business side of it that people have started to forget the craft, you know, the wordplay, the stories, the metaphors, and the truth, you know, that goes along with all of it.
Mm-hmm. All right. I like that answer. Definitely. All right. So the other part of the question about how
now-
hip hop is viewed around the rest of the world in your travels, when somebody throws on a hip hop record over in the Middle East or over in Asia, the response.
So I was just out in the Baltics. So I was out in Lithuania, Estonia, out in Latvia, and I was in London and the UK. So, and this was like weeks ago. And like when people throw on like hip hop, I'm not talking about, and not knocking them, but I'm not talking about like Lil Uzi or Lil Yachty or, Lil Wayne. When people throw on hip hop, when you're talking about Fonte, Nas, Mos Def, Talib Kweli, Jay-Z's in there, Biggie Smalls, Tupac. Like when people throw on lyricists, people go nuts.
Yeah.
When I was over there, like the radio stations over there, my music broke out overseas before people even heard it here or would even listen to it, for that matter. Right? Because it's different. But over there, like hip hop is respected and revered far more than it is here in America.
Yeah.
And like what they still drive, what they think is the best from the listeners, not just from the stations. So your
Right.
DJs still control, what goes on the air as far as new music. Not talking about top 40 stuff that plays everywhere, but as far as new music that breaks, if they hear it and they like it, it's on.
Right.
It's that simple.
Right. Well, long gone a lot of those days in a lot of parts of this country for various reasons. Some of them you mentioned because of the business, some of it because of money, politics, and just there's a whole social angle to it that would take a lot longer than 30 minutes for me to dissect. Do you know what I'm saying, with everybody about some of the things that's going on behind the scenes and some of the puppets and the people that are pulling the strings. You know what I'm saying? But it gets deeper. But we ain't got time for that. Yeah. That's a whole 2-hour woke segment that I gotta have. You know what I'm saying? And with a panel of people to discuss everything that goes on that length. But there's a lot of things and there's a lot of truth to what you're saying. Me personally, I've actually traveled overseas, and I can actually definitely say that what you're saying is definitely true about what kind of hip hop that they like, especially in the UK. And especially the way they view the culture of hip-hop, it is very still much the art of it, even all the way down to graffiti and breakdancing, is just still respected a lot more over there. You know what I'm saying? They still love graffiti and breakdancing 10 times more than they have here. Like it's brand new, like it's the 70s or the early 80s or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So,
dude, I still see dudes in shell-toe Adidas and velour jumpsuits.
Yeah. It's weird that now hip-hop has evolved and has broken down as a genre into at least we've got about 5 real hardcore subgenres of hip hop. Like I'm talking about 5 literal hardcore subgenres of the genre right now going on. And Odd House still over there, like that first original, the oldest genre of all, the very first original hip hop is still revered over there. Whereas over here, it's like go get the hell on. It's a new generation. They call you an old head. They call you a hater if you say you don't like a certain kind of music or a certain kind of genre, a subgenre of hip-hop, you get deemed a hater. It's all crazy over here right now in America. But, say la vie. It is what it is. Let's get back into the conversation.
You are tuned to the K-100 Radio, hip-hop and R&B.
All right. This is K-100 Radio. I'm your host, Blizzard. Thanks, buddy, for tuning into the show. I'm having a real dope, deep conversation with the homie Intellect. We got to get ready to jump into this music, man. I don't want to run up against the clock like I did with my last guest over here talking. I want to make sure we have our time to actually check out this music this time over here and talk about what we hear on the music, definitely. So, I got 2 songs by you, bro. We've got Then There Were Two, and then we got Veterans Day. Which one of these you want to hear first?
Since we started talking about veterans, let's let everybody listen to Veterans Day.
All right, tell me about this record. What are we about to get into right here?
You are literally going to walk through the mind of a veteran, speaking from his own experiences.
All right.
So Veterans Day is just that, the things that we go through, the things that we feel, we experience, and it's just a perspective of one veteran. And I'll leave it at that so people can actually kind of enjoy and pay attention to what's being said.
All right, this is Intellect. Name of this joint is called Veterans Day. K-100 Radio, direct line interview. Let's check it out.
K-100, you bastards!
At war with my inner demons, I know I'm going to hell. At least I got my story to tell. Top secret assignments, dotted line, I signed it. I guess I put my life on consignment. If I could press, pause, maybe rewind it, probably wouldn't do some of the same kind of shit. Like ending life in a foreign land, or lying to my kids about who I really am. It's the type of pain only if you understand. Hear the truth of a broken down battered man. Exterior strong, exoskeleton, but inside hollow like false Republican. I'm all alone and consumed by my thoughts. This darkness, like the Loch Ness, no one sees these monsters. Feel the rush, like the freeway, switching gears and popping the clutch. Dying anyway, might as well roll up a Dutch. I'm vexed much, abandoned in this world, looking for God's touch. Life's hurting, death certain, pull the trigger, die quicker, grab a bottle, pull the liquor, try to kill off this pain. Parents don't want me to pass before them, but should I choose death to live life oppressed? My own country hates the color of my skin, yet leverages my strength for war. But within, I'm much more complex than any Jay-Z metaphor. Try to make it better for my children to carry on, leave a legacy for seeds of my seeds, through them live on. Pray to God for peace on this world the day that I'm gone. Antidepressants mixed with alcohol steering me wrong. Post-traumatic stress disorder, I can barely perform. My psychiatrist just wants me to give her the long D. Call herself my head doctor, medicated relief. That's patient confidentiality. Wow, burst some trees, lose my gravity. Now, crossing the brink of losing sanity. How can it be? They profit off a tragedy. Feel the rush. Life's a freeway, switching gears and popping the clutch. I'm dying anyway, might as well roll up a Dutch. I'm vexed much, abandoned in this world, looking for God's touch. Life's certain, death certain, pull the trigger, die quick and grab a bottle, pull the liquor, try to kill off my pain. Tell me, do you feel the rush? Life freeway, switching gears and popping the clutch. You're dying anyway, why don't you roll a Dutch? Abandoned in this world, you're searching for God's touch. Life certain, death certain, pull the trigger, die quick and grab a bottle.
It's going down. Here's another exclusive interview on K100 Radio.
You are tuned to K100 Radio, hip hop and R&B.
All right, let's get back to it.
K-100, you bastards!
K100 Radio, I'm your host, Blizzard. Thanks for tuning into the show. We right now chopping it up on a direct line interview with Intellect. We're going to bring him back on the line, man. So I definitely feel where you were going with the song right there, man. The vibe of it definitely puts you in the mood of classic hip-hop as far as the production goes. Good joint. I rocks with it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, a lot of deep stuff that was said. Shout out to Keith Hellraiser over there checking us out over on the Facebook Live. Peace to the God over there, homie. What's going on? Man, shout out to everybody that was checking us out over here also as well. Over here on the Instagram live feed that's watching us live. And, of course, listen, if you're watching this after the fact over on our YouTube page, or if you're listening on SoundCloud, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you follow us on SoundCloud. And also the artist. Like, if you right there already on social media or whatever, yo, look up the artist and rock with them if you thought that was a dope cut. I'll often tell people all the time, man, you know, the whole point of doing these direct line interviews is not only to have a dope way to give up-and-coming artists a great platform, but it's also to connect them with anybody that may come across this video or this podcast or listening live. It's for you to connect with them. So if you're really digging it and vibing it, it don't cost you nothing to like a song, to share a song on your page and say, yo, found some dope new music, found some dope new hip-hop, check it out. That's how shit pops off. That's the whole point. All right? So if you're complaining about some of the shit that you don't like and you do like something that you hear over here, let's share it, man. Don't cost shit to share nothing on social media. You know what I mean? And a lot of movements can start that way. So now, back. Oh, we got somebody on the phone lines too. And listen, if you want to call in and give if you want to give a shout out, if you want me to come to your phone line, if you're listening, make sure you press the number 1 and we'll bring you on the phone lines if you want to give a shout out to Intellect or join in the conversation. Make sure you press the number 1 on the keypad. I see a number on there. So if you want me to come to your phone line, I'll do it in a second. I see the 301. They want to holler at us, so I'll get ready to go to them in a second. Stand by 301 because we got song, but I'm coming to you before we play it. So Intellect, back to the music, man, and back to what you were saying about, you know, how you feel about hip hop. All right, and
Yep.
trust me when I tell you, I'm definitely feeling. I definitely feel you. I definitely agree with a lot of what you said, and I put myself in a position to try to help as much as I can to kind of, have a platform where everybody gets an even playing field. But when you're out there, and you're traveling the world, and you're making this music, and you're doing you, and you see all these other things, all these other cool cultures and atrocities and great things that you see that other people just don't get a chance to experience. When you draw that inspiration and you try to paint the picture, right? What about the artists who are doing the exact same thing, that are real live, living the stuff they rapping about? Like, what about the guys that really are in the trap? What about the dope boys? A lot of people say, well, listen, man, that music is not really a part of hip hop. And I say, well, pump your brakes on that. Everybody's got their path and their story to tell, even if you don't necessarily like the delivery. Sometimes it's actual facts. How much stock do you put in the actual truth in your music? Like, does everything you say have to be factual, or like you said, the art of storytelling? I feel like you could tell a real life story, like Brenda's got a baby, but it's not necessarily happening to you. What do you think?
I think it's a matter of preference to the artist, right? I don't knock a person's music one way or the other, whether it's true or not. Like, I grew up in the hood just like everybody, just like a bunch of other folks. I just chose a different path. So I don't knock people who make trap music. There's trap music out there that I love, man. Like, I enjoy all facets of hip hop. There's just some that I'm more partial to because of my personal preferences than I am some others. So if that's a person's story to tell, then I think that they have every right, and they should tell, their story. Hopefully, if we talk about trap music, they're just not self-incriminating, because then nobody will hear their music. So,
Tekashi 6ix9ine. Tekashi 6ix9ine. That's my bad. Sorry.
But I think, as far as me personally, everything I put in my music is truth.
Right.
So for me, at least I can say, if people don't necessarily like it, they will respect it, because everything that I wrote down is true and is specifically tailored for that piece of music.
Right.
So, when you talk about embodying a piece of music, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about until I hear that piece of music and become an instrument and tuck in as an instrument within that composition.
Right. Okay.
So I think everybody deserves to tell their story, whether you do trap, whether you auto-tune, whether you do mumble rap, and it's going to be partial to the listeners. Listeners are going to decide what they want to listen to more of, but that shouldn't stop anybody from doing what it is that drives them. Right. Because as an artist, you evolve. Who knows? I may do a record just like that because something in that piece of production moves me to do so. And talk about something that relates to those things. So, I say to any artist that's out there, man, if you are out there grinding, continue to do it. Get your music to as many people as you can. And most importantly, like, invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Get your product package, make all your things polished, so that the people that you want to hear your music, the time to listen to it, because you took the time to present yourself. It's like going to an interview. Am I going to show up in jeans and Timbs, or am I going to show up in a suit?
Right. Exactly. Good stuff. Now, hold on. There's somebody on the phone line, 347-934-0966. That's the number to dial into the show. I think somebody wanted to holler at you. You maybe have a supporter that's on the line. We'll go to him real quick. Area code 301. What up? Who's this?
Hi, this is Cherie from Washington, D.C. How are you?
How you doing, Cherise? Welcome to the broadcast. Welcome to K-100 Radio. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Go ahead. What do you got to say?
So I really enjoy the conversation that you guys are having. I listen to Will, and I listen to his music, and Intellect, I really love the stuff that you're putting out right now. I really like the Veterans Day song. I just have a question. So the trap music, the hip-hop music, that's really, the sound right now. But I'm wondering if you have any music out there that's, strictly structured for the ladies out there. I myself like music from all different types of cultures, but I haven't really heard anything on hip-hop right now dealing with us ladies. I'm sure a couple of us ladies can agree that we would love to hear a song.
So I do. They don't have that record here this evening, but I do. It's called Your Eyes. You can find it on SoundCloud. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Music. The single is already out. So if you're looking for something that is specifically catered and designed for the ladies, then I would definitely listen to Your Eyes.
All right.
Okay, I would definitely cop that. Thank you.
I have a question for you since you called in. When you say for the ladies, are you looking for a song? I got real quick. I can go over now. This is my second interview, so we can go over a little bit. That's an interesting question. When you say for the ladies, specific for you, when you do you mean for like an empowering kind of song? You mean a romantic kind of song? Like what exactly are you technically really looking for as a
So
in
my personal taste, I like a little old school. I like LL Cool J, I Need Love.
Okay.
So I kind of like the artist's expressions when it deals with their feelings, like that sensuality dealing with music. So I'm kind of like looking for that. I've heard the stripper pole music, and that's cool and all. But sometimes I'm in my feelings, and I just, I want to feel like I'm being catered and loved, And there's a lot of begging with R&B sometimes, not all music, but I just want to hear a little different, perspective.
Okay.
And Intellect sounds like he's got something out there for me to chomp on. So I think I'm gonna check it out.
All right. Well, I appreciate you calling K-100 Radio. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the interview. And please tune in. We play a wide variety of music, so download our mobile app and pop it open anytime, 24/7, and see what we got playing. You never know what you'll hear. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. So listen. All right. Now you told me you like you said, Intellect. You got a song like that, but we don't have that one. But we're gonna pull the trigger on the second song that we got by you called "Then There Were Two." Tell us about this one.
So this is when this record is about two things. Mm-hmm. So the first thing it's about is like me having a discussion with the woman I'm in love with, hip hop,
right?
And me talking to her. This is also where the direction of the album changed, where we actually incorporated a second producer on the project who writes symphonies and lives in the Virginia area. And he actually gave us a symphony for this album or for this record, that we used, and he became an integral part of the album. So he played all kinds of live instruments on the album, and just from that point, Nico at Sweet Spot Studios in Virginia, that's where the album was recorded, and that's where the direction of the album changed, meeting him. And then we actually took it to Out of Left Field, because we actually had a different name for the album. We were working on it with my lead producer, and then when Nico joined on, it became like this other different kind of composition.
Right.
And him and Mad Frequency just did some incredible things where this album is all live instruments. So we don't have any digital music on the album, at all. Oh. So everybody put in like time and effort, like playing things, sampling it, getting the keys right, to create this album. So it took us like over a year to put this together because of that.
Okay. Well, definitely got to check this out, man. And we're getting ready to come up against the clock. So before I hit play on this one and ride out to this last joint by Intellect called Then There Were Two, I want to make sure you give out all your contact information and social media so they can find you and everywhere they can find this album right now.
Definitely. So again, social media, everything is Intellect Music, the number 1. You can find it on Apple Music, Spotify. If you've got Deezer, Tidal, no matter what platform you have, you can find the album. You can also find me on IMDb, working with Morris Chestnut and Jennifer Carpenter on The Enemy Within, which airs in 2019 that I'm working on. And if you want to see anything else that I've worked on and participated in, you can go check out season 2 of Quantico, which is actually based on my personal experiences in life.
Oh, man, that's dope. Good stuff, man. Listen, this is K-100 Radio, all right? And we've been rocking out with the homie Intellect. We're getting ready to ride into the sunset on this direct line interview. Remember, if you love this music, if you like any part of this conversation, make sure you go check the artists out. Connect with them on their social media. Connect with them on the music platforms. Download the music. Share it. The last song before we go, Then There Were Two. This is Intellect, and this is K-100 Radio.
You are tuned to K-100 Radio, hip hop and R&B.
Featuring pen and pad, frequency is driving me mad. I had a dream of standing outside of my own skin, watching myself rock a mic in front of $100 grand in Japan with my man Fumi swinging from the stands and my dude Manny killing the bass as part of the band. Carry this torch until the day I die. Look at my legacy. Hip hop survived through each breath. Exhale till the day she's revived. Does that make me heroic? Consensual suicide. Cause every bar, every verse, she knows I'm killing myself to be the best of the best. As I'm looking at this man in the mirror, clear a picture of my inner me. Only enemy. Pull the trigger, blast, leave my brain all over this beat. Now breathe. And then there was two. I give it all, give it up. Just to speak for a few. I'm talking to you. My first love, last love. There's no one above. It's me and you. We can't hide from the truth. And then there was two. I give it all, give it up. Just to speak for a few. I'm talking to you. My first love, last love. There's no one above. It's me and you. And this is the proof. You were listening to the mathematic, charismatic, rhymatic, dope tactics. We have it, blueprint, schematics. Friction in the industry has caused your affliction, but I end it. Give them the pain of boas constriction. This non-fiction, preparing these rappers for their eviction. That's my affliction. My will alone gives me conviction. That's the depiction I seen in the premonition. It was written. Doing this could lead to my crucifixion with precision. I could have all restricted admissions. Shut them up, shut them down, then I'll make an incision and suture you up. Then there was two, me and you. You're the type of girl that I will bring to the crew. If they ever disrespect you, guess I'm slaying them too. And then I slay you to beautiful music flows from your womb. When I die, you'll become my tomb. I'll live forever through these verses delivered to you. And then there was two. I give it all, give it up. Just to speak for a few. I'm talking to you. My first love, last love. There's no one above. It's me and you. We can't hide from the truth. And then there was two. I give it all, give it up. Just to speak for a few. I'm talking to you. My first love, last love. There's no one above. It's me and you. And this is the proof.
It's going down. Here's another exclusive interview on K-100 Radio. When you think of K-100 Radio, we got it on lock with classic hip-hop and R&B.
We taking you back in the day.
Way back. 24/7 on your radio.
LL Cool J,
Ice Cube,
Lauryn Hill, Snoop D-O Double G, Outkast, Dr. Dre, Jay-Z,
Mary J. Blige,
Notorious B.I.G.
This is Q-Tip.
K-100 Radio.
Stop, drop, shut 'em down, open up shop.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I am for real.
Turn us up now. We are
hip hop and R&B. I mean R&B.